Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, this is the Black Eye Podcast, and I am your host, Michelle. Um, I thought I'd better go live for this because I wanted to really address the DEI issue. Girl, I don't know why in 2025 we're still looking for the federal government to give you something that we know and we have been talking about for I don't know how long, how the government couldn't be trusted. And still, we have certain people looking for DEI to change their lives and to make their lives possible. We knew this day was going to come. We knew the day was going to come when the civil rights agreement, the civil rights executive order was going to expire. We knew this. And yet, you had people come on these platforms, talk about racism, accuse the very people who give you the opportunity to talk of being racist and prejudiced against you. And then you assumed that because you said whatever you said on their platform, that nothing, there was going to be no consequence to you. And I just wanted to come up and just talk about that for a bit because I'm getting myself struck and carried on anyway. So I hope you can hear me. I know there's nobody up this hour of the morning. So let's see if you can hear me. So DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, was meant to include many people into what everybody presumed to be a white world. But it is not a white world. It hasn't been in a very long time. I used to work in a place called, well, it helped people who were marginalized find employment. And because I helped them find employment, this was a long time ago. They, because they were marginalized. And I'm sorry, hold on one second. What would happen was if they were gay or, ooh, there it is. I just want to make sure I was heard. So they would have difficulty getting jobs. Now, I would get them a job. And the job, once the person got the job, then they would suffer all kinds of harassment uh, on the job. This was many years ago. And this was a person who was, in between their transition. Okay. Fast forward to now, nobody can discriminate against you for your transition. In fact, nobody cared about transition until uh, until you started going after the children. But let me just start from the beginning. Okay, DEI. Did you really think that the government was going to keep this going? Did you really believe that the government was going to keep this going? We know, and we've been talking about this for years. I know I have been on my podcast when it was Audible that you can't trust the government for anything. The government gives and the government takes away. All right. So DEI was never meant to stay. You had to have known beyond the shadow of every doubt that this was going to fade, that they were going to look around and they were going to see all these people complaining about the people who are in charge. And then they were going to start, I don't know, they were going to start taking back things because you didn't seem appreciative enough. because you aren't realizing that not everyone is responsible for slavery, for racism, etc., etc. You're making money off the very platform that they gave you, but you're saying that you're living in a racist society. And at some point, they were paying, they were going to come to the conclusion that maybe you don't need DEI as much, you don't need it. Because why else would you be complaining about something that you don't appreciate? So they started to take it away because it was getting too much. Too much. Too much attention, too much aggravation, too much everything. All right? I know I'm starting off really, really crazy. I had notes. Last year, I was watching a podcast, group of men, and they were talking about a group of things. Uh, not the DEI, the N word was amongst those things. A young woman, young YT woman, used the N word without the without the ER. Okay. She was talking kind of casually about men. And so a group of activists got on the app, it was on TikTok, and they called her employer and they got her fired. And so the black men on this panel, I don't even know the name of the podcast, but they were all on the panel. And Tommy Sotomayor, let's be clear. I do not like Tommy Sotomayor. I don't care for Tommy Sotomayor. But a stop clock is right twice a day. And so Tommy Sotomayor was arguing with this panel of men about their perceived power. And he was telling them that in order, you really don't have power, not the way you think you do. And he was explaining to them that you only are about 14, 13, or 14% of the population. And these men were like, yeah, but we have the power. We got her fired. And so Tommy was explaining to them that once they start getting tired of you constantly dogging them and playing in their face about the N word, you're going to realize that you don't have what you think you have. And so he was in and out. He was rage quitting. They were holding on to the N word. First of all, personally, I think the N word should be dead and buried, just like the pile of sticks. The word meaning a pile of sticks is dead and buried. Nobody can use that word. But the N word is alive and kicking. And the black men on the panel were defending the word because they believe, they said, oh, well, this is our word. We've taken the power back. This is us. We get to use the word whenever we want to. And the word is really harmless. It only means black boy. So Tommy said, well, if the word is harmless and it only means black boy, even though you keep saying the word is derogatory, why don't we stop using the word? Well, they said, because in their arms or in their purview, the word can turn into anything at any time. So Tommy said, why don't you stop using the word? Why don't you get it out of your vocabulary? In fact, I typed that in the chat my damn self. And they said, well, why do we have to give up the word? I mean, this is no surprise that black men fight for the word, the N word. They fought for that word. Tooth and nail, they were fighting for that word. And I put my head in my hand and I shook it. I said, you know what? I think we've already lost. We have already lost the war or the battle. whatever we're fighting here. We're lost. Because the little white woman says, you know what? She went on Tommy Sotomayor's show. She went on various shows. She says, I don't give two fucks. And when a white woman who is embracing your culture, and never underestimate the power of a white woman who is embracing your culture, talks to the camera and says, I couldn't give two fucks, you have already lost. Things were going to fall. They were going to start tumbling down. People were going to start losing rights, and all that perceived power was going to be laughed at. Case in point, Al Sharpton gets what? 100 people, 1,000 people, give him a $25 gift card to go shopping at Costco because of DEI. They're laughing at him now. It's a joke. Everything that we are trying to achieve has been made fun of it. Been made fun of. Because Black people, Black men in particular, don't take it seriously. Black women run around with boyfriends talking about they married and not taking marriage seriously enough. And therefore, anybody who is Black who gets married doesn't the Black woman isn't elevated in her marriage. There's a lot going on in the peripheral that we have not been paying attention to because the distraction has been wigs, weaves, and lashes. That's what the discussion has been. Wigs, weaves, and lashes. Meanwhile, I did a video about this, and I'll link it in the description. A study that had been cited 8,500 times by a Black professor proving the existence of systemic racism was debunked, withdrawn. And I believe I said in one of the iterations of that video that people are losing their rights and they don't even know it. It was before Trump, darling. It was before Project 2025. It was long before then. They were losing. Case in point, the Fearless Fund, a capital, blah, blah, blah. They give money to people, Black businesses, Black women. Edward Blum, a white man, took these people to court using the law, a law from the 1800s meant to protect Black people for themselves, and said that Black women were being racist because they didn't give money to white businesses. Venture capitalists, that's what they were. A Black venture capitalist nonprofit. Little by little, step by step, inch by inch, they are taking back the very thing that protects you from discrimination. And nobody was paying attention to this. Y'all still talking about men and women. Y'all still talking about relationships. Y'all still talking about sex. This was happening. This is before Project 2025 is even published. Long before then. They've been planning on this because they got tired. The LGBTQ, the alphabet community overplayed their hand. Everybody was fine with you being a trans or whatever you wanted to be until you started going for the children. And then they weren't fine with you anymore. Because now what are you doing? Going after the children. Go, be an adult, live the life you want to live. We don't care. We don't care what you want to transition into. We don't care how many genders you think there are out there. We know it's two sexes, but if you want to, whatever, do you. But now you want to come out here into the schools and you want to talk to the children, to the babies. The teachers are out here. Everybody was overplaying their hand. Everybody was overplaying their hand. And the one thing about the majority is they're not going to let the minority rule. And it wasn't long before they began to realize, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Who is 14% of the population? Who has like less than 1% or 3% of the population? Why are they allowed to dictate to us what we should do? Why are they allowed to dictate to us how we should teach our children? Why are they allowed to dictate what words we use and the speech we get to use? And it wasn't long before the walls were going to fall. DEI was new. It was new. It wasn't going to stay. But the 1965 executive order signed by, oh my God, Lyndon Johnson. I can't believe I forgot that. Signed by Lyndon Johnson. That was going to fall too. It wasn't going to be too long because y'all was out here talking your business, telling the people who gave you a platform that you don't appreciate having the platform. Am I to say that racism doesn't exist? No, of course it does. I got news for you. There will always be racist people. I hate to quote Kevin Samuels, but Kevin Samuels was right about this thing right here. Okay? It's your responsibility to rise above that. There's always going to be an ism. There's always going to be people who don't like you. There's always going to be people who don't think women should have rights. They don't think black people should have rights. They don't think anybody should have rights. They just don't. They're closed-minded and they're tiny people. It's our job and our duty to rise above it. But did we? No. We kept looking for them to give us something that was ours to begin with. All we had to do was rise above it. All we had to do was get our education. All we had to do was climb in the ranks. But you listen to content creators tell you, oh no, education is not important. We listen to a lot of foolishness on this platform. When little by little in the peripheral, like ghosts, they were taking away our rights. Like little Pac-Man. Doop, 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 nibble, 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 nibble. Now, I think personally that DEI being taken away is good for us. It's good, especially for black people. Because now we have to stand on our own 2 feet. Now we have to stand on business. Now we have to be honest about who and what we are. No more protections. No more, let me just check off the part where I'm black and I'll get in. Now you have to work hard. They were giving you an opportunity before, but now they don't have to give you an opportunity. You have to earn Right, it seems that I'm back. I don't know what happened. That's so funny. Everybody's after me. I'm paranoid. Everybody's after me. Everybody's after me. Everybody's after me. This probably won't stay up for very long. But I just wanted to get up here and say is now we have to earn our way. We have to earn our way into back into good graces. Nobody's giving you a free ride. Y'all didn't know how good you had it. You didn't know how good you had it. And now, what's happened? Did not come up. Somebody reported me already. No, I'm still up there. Okay. I was gonna say I ain't saying nothing really that nobody else hasn't already said. So what was I saying? Now we have to earn it. Now we have to we really do have to work for it. And it's better that you attain it yourself than the government give it to you because the government can give it and the government can take it away. Now, I was reading an article about Sharpton, Al Sharpton, who went over to Costco and now because Costco says, well, we're going to keep our DEI program, which personally, I think that's how it should be. I think that if somebody, a company or a business wants to keep DEI, they should be able to do so, but not the federal government giving them money or whatever or spending money for DEI. Those should be personal goals uh, for attained by the businesses. You know, if they see something wrong, hey, maybe we should do better, depending on the CEO or whomever or the culture of the business. Based on that, then sure. I'm sorry, certainly, certainly. Why not? Why not? I don't have a problem with Costco decided that they're going to continue DEI. That's their prerogative. But it should never, ever come from the federal government. It shouldn't have come from the federal government in the first place. But it did. But it did. So I don't know if this live is going to stay up. I don't know, honestly. But um, yeah. So I really wanted to come up here and say like DEI is good for the black people. I know y'all mad. Y'all mad at Tabitha Brown because Tabitha Brown is like if you boycott them, then you're going to affect businesses. But I want to kind of set y'all in a kind of reality. I'm sorry, but y'all are only 14% of the population. And I'm saying 14 because really it's in 13s, the mid 13s. Black people really don't have that kind of power to affect businesses like Walmart or Target, etc. You don't. You don't have the cash, the influence to affect a business like that. And you may get angry with me and you say, "Well, Michelle, you shouldn't say that. We spend more money." No. No, 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 no. No. If DEI was profitable, they would keep it. It's in their best interest to make money. They would keep it because that's what they would want to do. They would want to keep DEI because it's profitable. But they know that black people do not spend that kind of money. That's why you fail in Hollywood, not because they're racist. Black movies are being made. Movies with black people in them are being made. It's just that you only represent 14% of the population. That's it. If you're making movies for black women only account for 7% of the population. There's no money in blackness, not the way there is money in everybody else. Black people are always the first to say, we're more impoverished than any other race there is, telling everybody that you have no money. So why then would they be inclined to give you anything or to to bow to you or to even cater to you? Because you're constantly telling everybody on these platforms that black people are the poorest people there is. And who wants to cater to poor people? Anything with black in it is negative. I think it was Cynthia G asked, why don't they talk about black femicide? Because black women represent 7% of the population. And black men represent the other 7% of the population. And rare people from other races aren't unaliving black women. Black women are being unalived by black men. It's a problem that can be mitigated, but black women won't mitigate that. You still have black women on these platforms who want black men in all their lack of glory. So DEI was not going to save you. Everybody's like, DEI was for white women. It was more of them than it is of you. So the civil rights, all that good stuff. Now we have to really be citizens. Now we have to really be citizens. And I'm glad in a way because I've been combing the platforms and a lot of black people are just ready to be people. You know, I'm a person before I'm a black person. I know everybody likes to say I'm a black person first. No, I'm a human being first. Being black or having the label of being black is the slavers' excuse for the evil that they've done. But I don't want to carry that crap with me for the rest of my life. I just don't want to do that. And I notice that people who don't do it are successful. The black men who shed it, they're successful. Whether no matter what their political belief is, they are successful. Black women who shed it are successful. If you cling to blackness, you will sink because blackness is like an anchor. And I know people don't want to hear this and they don't like this. And listen, girl, I get hammered all the time. People call me sus. We don't believe that you're black. You ain't one of us. Blah, 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 blah. Right. But see, I've been watching. I've been paying attention. I've been listening and judging. I judged y'all. But I've been listening. And it shocks me that black women being the most educated class in the United States of America are still holding on to the anchor of the black man who is bringing you down. They get up on these platforms and they bring you down. They give the world permission to bring you down, to disrespect you. You ever wonder why there are no white red pillars? I used to watch them. They used to proliferate YouTube. It was very interesting, and they all would complain how they were being tagged for hate speech. They would complain, "They're tagging us for hate speech. We can't say anything." So what happened was that a lot of the white red pillars began to go behind the wall. They've been behind the wall. They have some of the same complaints as black men do, but they knew that they could not be out here on these platforms talking this way because the women were going to bring it down. And they did. I think I see maybe one or two. They did. They didn't rest until Fresh and Fit were gone. They made sure Pearl was deplatformed, demonetized. I'm sorry, she was demonetized. Anybody who was in the red pill got trounced. What did O'Shea Duke Jackson call it? The Negro wake-up call of Don Lemon? He up there on the white person, on the white people's news channel, trying to tell white women that they over the hill, that they hitting the wall. Everybody thinks he was fired because he was a diva. No, he was fired because he was sprouting those words, and those white women in the background wanted him to be served. And he was. That's what got him fired. They didn't say anything online. They didn't fight with him. There was no histrionics. They went in the back and they said, they don't like Nikki Haley, but you can't sit up here and talk about us like that. And he was gone. He was gone. He out here in YouTube streets now, girl. Yelling and screaming and acting a fool. But anyhow. You know? But black women will get up here and agree with black men and say, "Oh, yeah, that's right, girl. Yes, we got to be feminine." They're going to get femininity classes. Yes, you're too masculine. Throw each other under the bus and run it over because y'all don't care. Y'all don't care. Anyhow, that's what I wanted to come up here and talk about. I don't know if this is going to be up for any length of time because it's not one of my better lives, unfortunately. But I may come back up. I may come back up and do it again. I wanted to talk about 2024 and how 2024 was a bad year. It was a bad year. My eyelash is itching. Why is it itching? Anyhow, it was a bad year. It was bad. You know, taking care of my mother full time. I I did have help, but my help went a little. And anyway, 2024 was a rough year. And so, yeah. Also, YouTube was on my case. They were on my ass. They were giving me warnings about community guidelines on shit I didn't even say. I mean, my content was like boring as hell because every time I was saying something, YouTube was like, "Oh, we can't upload it because of community guidelines." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm not even saying anything." And so, I got another. I'm on probation again. And I'm tired. I really just tired. I'm tired because I see that black folks really don't want to ride on the bicycle and be independent. This is what's kept us back. The fact that we knew we could have anything we want because they got to give it to us because we're black. And I know a lot of you are like, "Oh, that's not true. That's not true." No, it is. It is. But anyways, I don't know. I may just slice this up and make something else out of it because I'm really too tired. But I probably will try to come back later today, and I will probably do this better later. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you see this video, and tell me what you think in the comments. It's a little disorganized. It's a little all over the place. It's like 7:30 in the morning. Yeah, it's early, girl. It's early. And I had a lot of thoughts, and I wanted to share them, and we'll see where it goes. Anyways, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you later on, hopefully today.